Hi, guys, and welcome to this new episode of the podcast. And here is Anastasia Stoyanova, and welcome. Welcome to this episode. And thank you so much for being with me and supporting me and listening to this. And this new episode actually was supposed to come out like the end of December. However, something happened, I caught the flu and I was just in bed with fever and sore throat. And that's how it was, unfortunately. And then after I managed to recover, I ended up getting a new virus, norovirus, and I actually lost almost 5 kilograms over the course of 2 weeks. Can you imagine? That's a bit of crazy. I did not want that to happen. I wanted to lose weight, but not at this cost. So be careful what you wish for, as they say. And actually, today's topic, today's episode is dedicated to the goals and resolutions for 2026, something I made. And also, I wanted to talk about the results and the achievements of 2025 and the failures of my 2025. I hope you stick around and kind of get to know me better and learn about my resolutions and goals and what worked out, what not. So 2025 was a very important year for me because that's the year when I actually started my new degree, my new professional field, higher education in a new professional field. And the reason for that is, of course, the financial instability in the teaching career, and also kind of I decided to try something new, maybe something that can make me feel more financially stable in the long run, because I feel that despite the fact that I do love teaching people and teaching English, and that has been everything to me for the past 10 years. But I do feel that in Canada, it's impossible to provide for myself just by simply teaching or having a small business. And it has proven to be very unstable, and the amount of tax and other costs cannot keep up with the amount of money that I make. I cannot cover my basic needs, and I kind of grew tired of relying on other people, on my family, my husband, to help me. And I reluctantly accept help, and for me, it's also like this pang of guilt that I have, that I want to be that person who can be financially stable and have some prospects. So that's why one of the goals was to start new higher education diploma program I got into. It's not connected with education at all, with the education field. I mean, it's a completely different field, and I'm just hoping that I can, start a new career. And of course, teaching is never gonna leave my life in one shape or form or another. I'm still gonna be a teacher. I will be creating products and courses for people, I'm sure. But yeah, that was the goal. So I studied successfully and I worked on top of that. So I never stopped teaching, and I worked part-time, and I kept tutoring people as well. So one of the goals was to minimize expenses, and yes, that's what I achieved. I minimized all of my expenses, and I led a very frugal lifestyle. I'm that kind of person who I could never splurge on anything anyway, like unless I really had to. But like I'm that kind of girl who can buy lipstick and keep wearing this lipstick like for 5 years, I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that. So that was like the goal, because I really had to shrink my budget, so to say, because you know that in Canada, higher education is not free. Yeah. So you got to pay for that yourself. But I think learning new skills might help me in the long run and might just improve my life. So I hope that this is the investment that I'm making right now with my time, with my money, and I hope that it will pay off. So one of the goals was also to complete financial literacy course and start investing. So the first half of that is done. What I mean is that I completed the financial literacy course, personal finance course I took in college. It was amazing. I loved the teacher. I learned a lot about Canada and personal finance in Canada. I'm really grateful. However, I did not start investing. As you can imagine, investing takes... you need income, but I could barely cover basic needs of mine and also education on top of that. And I was kind of living and relying on credit. So investing was not in the cards in 2025. So like this. And then, oh, by the way, I want to make a comment that I usually make resolutions right before Christmas. And I've been doing that for years and years. And I try to write as many as I can, not because I hate myself, but it's like I want to make sure that I read through them every week or every other week, which I do. And I think it keeps me in a good shape. And it doesn't matter how many resolutions you have. You might have as many as 5, but in my case, I do have a lot more than 5. I have 10, 15. For 2026, I wrote 20. But I'm just writing whatever comes to my mind, and I want to make sure that I cover all of the fields or aspects of my life, because there is the wheel of balance, life balance. Our life consists of personal relationships, family, friends, finance, health, entertainment, right? All the fields of your life. So in the field of career and work, finance, health, family, friends, romance, relationships, personal development, entertainment and leisure, and some extra goals, right? So for me, that's how I create my goals, and I try to brainstorm of everything I'm wishing for. So some things don't happen, right? Some things just because, you are kind of sometimes stretching yourself. But for me, it's important because I feel like if you don't have the goals, you're just going to waste your life, right? So I just wanted to make that comment, wanted to make that remark. All right. So something I failed was physical activity, because I wanted to go to a gym once a week, and I could not do it consistently. And I even gained weight because of the stress of juggling, studying full time and working part time. And it was very hard. So I failed at that. No consistency there. I'll try to do my best this year. So far, so good. And that was in 2025, like I said. And then also, one of the goals was to improve my relationships with my husband, discuss all the problems and challenges, and accept support and help. Because for me, I always I'm always hard on myself, because I feel like I cannot just, rely on the financial support of my husband all the time. I want to be more independent. I want to be, that kind of partner that everyone dreams about, And sometimes it's really hard because my profession, unfortunately, and my profession lets me down. Being a teacher, unfortunately, means being in a lot of financial trouble. And being a teacher, as a tutor, as an ESL teacher, that's very hard. Just trust me. And I decided even to make a separate episode about business and self-employment, because I feel like a lot of people romanticize that. I mean, a lot of people, when they hear the word business, they immediately think that, or self-employment, she must be, she must be rich or something. But it's a complete disaster, actually. Being a self-employed person in Canada, that means you're screwed. And I'm going to talk about that separately. But anyway, so that was one of the goals, to accept financial help from my husband, openly discuss problems. And I think I achieved that, so we could put a tick on that, and that was well done. Another goal was to learn French, and I succeeded. I started actively learn French, and also learning French is very important for my new career and something I can monetize in the future as well. Maybe also teaching, or for a government job, or for something. We will see how it goes. So yeah, that was good. And then also another goal that I failed. Yeah, so like French was not something I failed, I succeeded in. But like, remember I told you that I failed at investing. So I also failed at obtaining a full G driver's license because I only have like G2 right now. And when I moved to Canada, I started the process from zero, like from G1, because I had no driver's experience, no driving experience at all. In Europe, like in Ukraine, for example, not a lot of people, and in a lot of other post-Soviet Union countries, people do not rely on cars that much. If you compare how much people might be relying on cars in Canada, right, in GTA. Like right now, I'm living in Toronto, but it's not gonna be always like that. I bet that in the future, we're gonna have to move, or we might want to move out of Toronto, especially considering how much it costs to live in Toronto. And living in Toronto and all the expenses, wow, it's just, guys. Toronto is a very hard city to live in and to immigrate to. And that's why, hence driver's license. Because if you want to move out, when you move out, you are screwed. Public transportation sucks. Like, Toronto has a subway system, right? And TTC and the buses, but they're not reliable whatsoever. So, like, unless you have an online work, which is a privilege, I think, right now, because everyone is made to go back to the office. Yeah, it's like I'm gonna say that having a good job, a good work, is a privilege these days as well, I feel like. So yeah, anyway, a driver's license is crucial, and I really want to obtain a full G driver's license, because in the future we might move out of Toronto, which would be great. I love Toronto, but sorry, Toronto, English teaching cannot pay for that, unfortunately. Yeah, some other goals I failed at was actually going skiing with my husband. We never went. And reading 3 books in French and 3 books in English. This goal was not accomplished because first of all, the lack of time and the lack of discipline, I would say. Some books were not as interesting as I had expected them to be or had wanted them to be. So I kind of stopped in the middle of the book, because I felt like, okay, wow, this is not something I'm interested in, or that's not good. And then I could never finish, like I think I read 2 books in English and that's it, just to maintain my level. But I kept reading the articles and watching the news and of course teaching and preparing for my lessons and looking for information. And I'm studying full time, right, in Canada, and everything is in English, but I feel like it's not the same when you just kind of indulge yourself in reading for pleasure. So I do strive to achieve that in the future. And then 3 books in French also was not possible. Like I only finished 1, but I think it's kind of like I tried, but I'll try better this year. So the last thing was to celebrate my birthday anniversary in London, the UK. And that's a huge tick. That's a huge done, thanks to my husband. And I'm really grateful. Thank you so much, baby. Without you, I would never be able to afford that shit, like that traveling. Oh my God. And I'm really grateful. Because that was like a dream come true. This is the best trip I've had in my life so far. Thank you so much. And these were my goals for 2025. And now I want to talk about something, and I called my resolutions. Every year I come up with some catchphrase, not come up with a phrase, but it's more like I use a catchy phrase to talk about something I'm wishing for myself. So this year for 2026, I called this list, and I have like 21 goals and 2 extra goals. I call this list Dare to Dream. So some of the goals that I was not able to accomplish in 2025, I I want to make them happen in 2026. So like, for example, losing weight, I want to lose 10 kilograms. And it's like, be careful what you wish for, because right after I made this list, and then I caught this horrible flu and I lost like 5 kilograms. So just kind of, yeah, that was not the way I wanted to lose the weight. But anyway, I put this on my list. So minus 10 kilograms by the end of the year. Before I gained my weight, I gained my weight in 2025, actually, because I was very stressed with my new field, with the higher education that I was getting, and I'm still getting. I'm not done with that. And I gained like 10 kilograms. Yeah. So like my weight was 58 and I became like 68 kilograms. And I wanna go back to 58 because that felt freaking good. So anyway, one of the goals for 2026, lose 10 kilograms, go to the gym 2 times, and then finish my higher education and get my diploma. Also find a job, but honestly, this is too optimistic, and there are several reasons for that I do not really want to talk about right now, but like more realistically would be, because I know that the job market is not good in Toronto, and I know that, and it's like, we'll see, on verra, but it's like I'm switching to French because I had this lovely French class today. And anyway, sidetracking here. So as I was saying, realistically, probably the job hunt would be in 2027. But like I put this just to get started in 2026. And then have French classes, yay, every week. So that's one of the goals. And then take and pass B2 exam in French. Just to have this nice diploma or certificate that can justify and say, hey, Anastasia knows French quite well, B2, that's upper intermediate. So she's like fluent, basically. Almost bilingual, right? Because I'm not even sure, like, the concept of bilingualism. I think you start being truly bilingual when you have the C1 level, but at B2, I guess that almost counts. Yeah. Then another couple of goals are about the self-employment. So I want to create 5 courses for the people who are learning English, and I want to help them master grammar and vocabulary and pronunciation and reducing their accent. So yeah, and when I improve my existing CELPIP course, that's one of the goals. Also, I want to get some professional certification in a new field, then get a G-Full driver's license, something I failed at in 2025. Also, I want to start investing if I can, because I really want to. And then I want to keep making this lovely podcast and release 1 episode every 2 weeks. I hope I'm not going to fall behind on that. I want to make 1 post on Insta for English learners every 2 weeks. And then the biggest goal is to prepare all the documents for Canadian citizenship and start Canadian citizenship process, because this year in 2026, I'm going to be finally eligible to apply for Canadian citizenship, because we are going to fulfill the physical criteria. So yeah, it's like in the summer, we're going to fulfill the physical criteria requirement, and we're going to start filing our case right away, start working towards my Canadian citizenship and a passport. This is something I can't wait for, honestly. This is like the hugest, if you could say like that, the biggest goal for me. Also, I want to start growing out my natural hair, because I feel that something I didn't tell you, but like I really wanted to grow out my natural hair, because my natural hair color, this is something you could see if you're watching this on YouTube right now. It's like I do have like a dark blonde hair, like dark. You call that mousy blonde, something I saw online. This is what it's called. So I want to grow that out. and I want to stop dyeing my hair because that's expensive, but that's actually not one of the reasons. I do not see myself as blonde anymore. Somehow I want to be very natural when it comes to that, and like grow out my natural mousy blonde color. And also, speaking of that, like I want to give up dyeing my hair because that's expensive, as I said. And also, I want to give up getting manicures and pedicures done to save money. I want to eat something sweet only once per 2 weeks. Something sweet, I mean like really, I want to give up eating pastry and drinking pop. And I think I'm really good at that. Like I already, this is my second week, of not doing that, like not eating pastry and not drinking pop like ginger ale. Ideally, like I want to make water as my drink of choice, and just kind of give up coffee. No, I cannot say this is my goal, but maybe like drink also less tea and kind of try to be just like water, maybe one coffee in the morning. And so that's like this. What else I didn't tell you? Yes, the last thing I wrote for myself is to read 3 books in French and 3 books in English to maintain a very good level of proficiency. So I really attempted that last year, but I think I was very busy because the biggest chunk of my time was occupied by the education, my diploma program, because believe it or not, getting college diploma at an older age, and I'm getting my diploma at a very different field, and everything is new, and that was super stressful, and it took a big chunk of my time, of my energy, of my health. So but anyway, I'll try and fix that and read more for expanding my horizons and just improving my languages, French and English. Also, 2 extra goals that I have is actually Spanish. I started learning in 2025, but only like for fun. I did not really take it seriously. So I'm not going to say like get serious about my Spanish, but I want to learn for now just to build a foundation. Just for fun. This skill actually I'm not going to monetize because it's mostly this is for fun. This is just I like the way Spanish sounds. And what I've heard is that it might be a bit easier if you learn Spanish after you learn French. So that's what I heard. And we'll see how it goes. And then also one more goal is to keep volunteering and maybe volunteer more. I like volunteering and helping people. So maybe I can get on with some new projects this year to volunteer and maybe volunteer in Toronto Public Library, like a speaking club or something. Maybe volunteer at a new place. I'm not going to say like church, but we'll see, maybe. So, that's all that I wanted to share with you. I'm kind of like, just opening up and really talking here, no filter, and just wanted to share a piece of myself with you. Like really, I'm feeling as if I'm naked right now. I disclosed all of my goals here. But I hope you can appreciate, and maybe some of these goals might make you think of some of the goals of yours and something you want to do, something similar, or maybe something that can motivate you to actually start setting those goals. Because for me, is like when I look at the goals that I did not achieve, I think that, okay, maybe next year, why not? In that way, you could see that, okay, like I postponed getting my G full driver's license because, heck, we don't have as much time as we wish we could have, right? For everything. So I think setting the goals, like using smart, maybe, specific, measurable, blah, 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 attainable, RT. I think it's also reasonable and then something like that. I forgot the abbreviation, but it's just setting your goals is not a bad thing. And I always recommend working on your resolutions and living your life, having those goals in mind. Because if you live your life like that, having something to look forward to, I think that what makes your life, right? Like it makes your life more interesting. It really fills up your life with a purpose. And that's what we are all here for. Yes, we all have our purpose, our I don't know, just like our path. So yeah, those goals are my path, and crossing my fingers here and hoping that everything I told you today is gonna come true next year. Thank you so much for listening. And in the next episode, I'm gonna talk about actually the downsides or the disadvantages of being a self-employed English teacher in Toronto. Why it sucks big time. Exactly. That's what I'm gonna talk about. Because there aren't many advantages, trust me. So being your own boss and having your own side hustle or like a small business, it sucks, guys. It's not that easy. And it's like, financially, you can drown. So anyway, but about that, we'll talk about it next time. Okay? Have a good day. Thank you for sticking around. And I hope that you're going to listen to me soon. Till next time. Bye-bye.